Marco here wanted to tell you all about what I think about the CBC, their reporting, and the fear-mongering that they're creating about me and real estate investing in general. I don't know anyone other than me that is getting more results with more students than myself, helping people from all over the world buy properties successfully in the United States. Have we made mistakes? Absolutely. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Do I wish I was perfect? Yes, I do, but I'm human and I obviously make mistakes. The CBC has reported 3 things that we're going to get into. Number 1 is I make up my testimonials. Complete bullshit. In fact, the CBC sent me this long list of things that they wanted from me. Not one was a testimonial. Not a freaking one. In fact, they interviewed one of my successful students, Dawson and Shirley Zhu from Vancouver. They called them, and as soon as they realized they had success and did quite well and have over a 20% return on the investment that they did buy, they hung up the phone, and that was it. Not even showed one testimonial of a successful student. They didn't even ask me for a testimonial from a student until I asked them if they wanted any, and by then it was too freaking late. They had already run the story. They had no interest whatsoever in seeing success. All they cared about is fear-mongering. So I'm going to play the excerpt that they played. I'm honored. They did it 3 times. They took the same clips, and they figured them out 3 times, reworked them 3 times to fearmonger and to make themselves look, oh, look, we caught this guy that's trying to scam people out of helping people do business all over the U.S. So let me walk you through exactly what the CBC said, what I have to say about what they said, and you tell me for yourself if you think this is a fair story.
So we established a fund specifically to fund our students' deals. Now,
our hidden camera captures the promise that convinced many students to pay thousands for Marco Kozlowski's real estate training.
We'll fund it all, 100%. How many of you like that?
That's why we signed up for the funding, because they advertised it as the Bank of Marco. But then there was none.
Manuela and Mike Noel say on the 3rd day of Kozlowski's weekend course, they learned they'd have to pay $100,000 for advanced training they were promised came with access to financing. They believe Kozlowski had deep pockets like his marketing videos suggest.
Secure funding with little to no money of your own.
As you know, all my students get access to cash, so you can buy properties anywhere in the United States using none of your own money. 100% financed, no money out of pocket. You can use my money to buy properties.
I have no faith in his program or in him.
Noel says he doesn't know any fellow students who got that promised access to cash.
The vast majority of students have no deals, have made no progress as far as I know.
So number 1, this guy is saying that he doesn't know of any students at all that have done deals. That doesn't make it fact. It means he doesn't know of any other students that are doing deals because he's not communicating with any other students that are doing deals. Number 2 is funding and financing are not at all the same thing. I'm sorry, I have a lot of birds in my backyard. Funding and financing are totally 2 different things. A funding is what we offer, which is allowing people to do transactional flips, which means that if I tie up a property for $100,000 and I find a buyer for $150,000, I will give the money for the $100,000 to be able to flip it for $150,000, so you, the student, can make $50,000 on a quick flip. The money is available for 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. The CBC doesn't tell you this. All they say is, oh, there's no funding. Guys, there's tons of funding. There's no financing. We have third-party sources for financing, and guess what? You're going to need 20% down like anybody else on the planet to be able to buy properties in the U.S. as a foreign national. We have 3 different sources for that. But guess what? We're not in the financing business. We're in the funding business, up to $200,000 for any flip that someone wants to do, because you can't use the buyer's money in order to fund the property that you're actually trying to buy. So if you have a contract for $100,000, you find someone that wants to buy for $150,000, you need to fund the $100,000 to be able to flip the $150,000. There's tons of money for that, and we have that available. But the CBC doesn't say that. They want to make me look like an animal.
So there's a whole lot of people out there that paid good money like you did and are not making money.
There's a lot of people that are in that boat, and
he breaks down, feeling guilty he encouraged others to join the program, which he thinks was a waste of money.
Leading the witness, Your Honor, she's actually telling him why he feels bad and putting words in his freaking mouth. to make the story look better. You know why he's crying? Because I already gave him shit for not doing the work that he's supposed to do, and he doesn't do the work. Someone pays me $100,000, which he did. They're supposed to follow my direction, not do whatever the hell they want, find a property in buttfuck nowhere and say, hey, I want $80,000 to renovate this property because I think it's a good deal. When I say, you know what, it's not a good deal. He makes his own decisions. He's on his own. If he wants to work with me, he has to follow my direction. And that's that. The reporter has no idea how to even spell real estate. Does she even own a piece of real estate? I don't even know. All she's doing now is finding reasons why to make me look bad, which is complete bullshit because I'm actually helping people, which means people seeing this story will think real estate is a scam and they're going to be stuck in their jobs for the next 25 years, retire with bad retirement, and be in the 97% of the population that can't even afford to retire and is going to retire broke. Only 3% of the population actually retire wealthy. Do what I ask you to do, and in the next 5 years, you'll actually retire wealthy. And you don't need a lot of capital to do it because we have the resources to be able to help you out. But the reporter doesn't give a shit about that. All they care about is fear-mongering. Keep listening. It gets worse.
This woman got her tuition back after she says Kozlowski promised, then failed to finance this Chicago property.
I lost that deal, so I brought them another deal, and another deal, and another deal, and none of them closed.
This woman joined the program just for financing, which we don't do. We knew we weren't a good match, so I gave her money back. It even says I gave her money back. What more can I do than give someone their money back when they're not a good fit for the program? It's exactly what I did. At least the CBC got that right.
In a statement to CBC News last week, Kozlowski said his company does provide short-term transactional funding for flips when a student buys and immediately sells a property. But 4 days later, he gave us a different answer, writing, "We no longer offer in-house funding to our students." He blamed the success of his program, saying our funding reserves were depleted more quickly than anyone expected.
How many of you
We don't do financing. We do funding. Financing and funding are not the same thing. Jesus.
would love it if we fund every single one of your good deals? We fund them out of our fund in the U.S. So
Seems his sales staff weren't on the same page. Just 2 days before the apparent change in policy, future students were still being promised access to cash if they pay for Kozlowski's next weekend course.
Didn't I just explain the difference between funding and financing? And now they're saying again, there's no funding, but there is financing. There's financing, but there's no funding. Let me say it one more time. If you want to buy a property for $100,000 to flip it quickly for $150,000, if your buyer is there, we will fund your property in order to fund it flip it quickly to somebody else, because we make money when you make money at the same time. We do not, I repeat, we do not do long-term financing. We're not a bank. We don't want to be a bank. We're not interested in becoming a bank. We don't want to be in a position where we're telling you what to buy and then have to foreclose on that property because your dumbass is not making the payment, which has happened before. So what we want to do is separate ourselves as an education company that helps people actually learn how to find the funding, find the financing. We have the funding, by the way, in case I didn't mention it. We have how to get the financing, which we know how to find with 20% down. Find the properties at great prices, because that's how you make money in real estate, finding properties that are off market, not that everyone else can find, from extremely motivated sellers, and have them sold or rented before you buy them. That's what I do, and that's what I teach people to do. I don't do long-term financing. Damn it.
They were also told Kozlowski's friend, Sir Richard Branson, gave him the idea to teach real estate.
I worked very closely with Richard Branson for quite some time. I was mentored by him. A very special program that I'll discuss at a later time, but it was a very good experience. Learned a lot from him.
But Richard Branson's spokesperson says the two may have met at a conference, but Branson knows nothing about Kozlowski's business, and the use of this photo in Kozlowski's marketing is not authorized. When we questioned Kozlowski about this, he says the two did work briefly together, but he says his salesman was wrong. It was not Branson who convinced him to teach real estate. Natalie Clancy, CBC News, Vancouver.
Branson did not give me the idea to buy real estate. That's preposterous. I've been doing it since 1999 from an infomercial from a long time ago. What the hell is wrong with people? They're looking for a reason to make me look bad and a liar. Listen, have I made mistakes? Absolutely. Am I perfect? No way. But am I going to sit down and just take it in the ass from someone at the CBC that says that I'm full of shit? Absolutely not. My students get results. I know what I'm doing. And I actually challenged Miss Clancy, and any other reporter, there's other reporters out there, I've invited them to my 3-day training, and guess how many have come to it? 0. I've invited them to take my home study course. Guess how many have done it? 0. I've invited them to read my ebooks. How many have done it? 0. Because they don't care about what actually the meat and potatoes of what I do is. All they care about is a good story that sells some newspapers to scare the shit out of people into staying in their jobs so they can retire broke like everybody else, just like them. If they really gave a shit about you, the person or the human being that you are, they would actually help you get more financially free and not slave to your job so you have to work endless hours, paying half in taxes so you can retire broke like everybody else on this planet. And I refuse to sit down and take it. There you go. Stick that in your hat and smoke it.